Good morning, JBLM. Good morning. Welcome to the June community update, Garrison update, excuse me. First off, I'd like to thank the Red Cross, as always, for providing us coffee, very much appreciated. And I want to give a quick shout out. Karen is in the back from the Lewis Thrift Shop. She wanted me to do a quick announcement that they are hiring this summer spouses, college students, and teens. So if you have someone who needs summer employment, please talk to Karen. And with that, I will turn it over to Colonel Lucas.
Good morning, everybody. Again, welcome. Welcome, General Valesky, sir, Sergeant Major Tagg, General Burleson, Colonel Curran, and all of the great team here at JBLM. So we have a lot to cover this morning, and you can see there, and we're going to start, I'm going to do my recognition, but then we're going to hand it right over for opening comments, and then we got a lot of kind of hot installation things we want to cover, plus the normal material that we always have, especially as we get into summer transition. I know there'll be lots of new faces, and so we'll get right into things. So first of all, like we always do, we want to start with some recognition. So today, Sergeant Major Maroney, please come up. We're going to have a chance to recognize someone who's done some great things for the community out of the 404th.
Good morning, sir. Sergeant Major, JBLM community. Hey, I brought Sergeant First Class Maria Boring here for recognition. She has supported the JBLM community with all the SARCs and victim advocates through all the programs. She's volunteered multiple, countless hours. She also hosted and put together the sample walk where she had over 70 participants from across the installation come out with the family and communities to do that walk and represent the SHARP. And she also raised, in the month of April, over $1,700 to be able to provide support for families in need across the JBLM community. By the end of April, simultaneously doing all of her duties at the same time. She also represents the 404th AFSB as the Brigade Sharp, and she also is our Brigade MRT, where she has hosted multiple sessions with DOD civilians, soldiers, and family members to enhance their lives and the lives of the family members across the JBLM community.
All right, so on behalf of Garrison, I'd like to present you this. Congratulations. General Valesky, sir, over to you for opening comments.
Hey, good morning. Hey, we've been on the road. We went to Hawaii for the Indo-Pacific Change of Command, and so that's why we've missed a little bit. My Sergeant Major and I were gone, just so you know that the Pacific Command is now called the Indo-Pacific Command. So we missed the 62nd Air Wing Command, Change of Command, so hey, on behalf of America's First Corps, we'd like to welcome you, and I look forward to seeing you. Busy time frame coming up. We just did our mission readiness brief to General Brown and USERPAC, and we told them in FY18 we had 16 weeks of all of fiscal year 18 that was not consumed by higher level activity. And General Brown said to us, we got to work on your operational tempo. I said, great, because in FY19 we have 10 weeks. So we are getting ready to really start to ramp up the op tempo for the Corps. So I would ask you, as you got some of these events, please don't hesitate to call our staff to make sure that as we're scheduling some things that you clearly want the First Corps to participate in, please work with us in our calendar so that we can participate, because these are all really important events. For those just that may not be aware, the Army's birthday is coming up, 14 June. We'll have the Army Ball, Army Birthday Ball there. General Retired Ham, the former AFRICOM commander, as well as a First Corps DCG that took over Task Force Olympia to Iraq and to Mosul, is going to be here on the installation. He'll be speaking at our ball. You are all invited. Our G1's selling tickets right now, so if you want to come, we'd love to have you. And then on the 22nd of June, we're going to have our retreat ceremony for our DCG, General Milhorn, who's going to go over and do bigger and better things, and then General Graham will come and replace him shortly thereafter. So those are some of the big events in the Corps. Thanks for all you do. Have a great day.
I know it says Colonel Curran up there, but I wanted to say a couple brief words. I know typically during these community updates, I get up here and I talk about how great the Air Force is and how much better it is than the Army. But I've been doing this for 2 years, and so you guys all know that already. Hello, is this on at all? Okay, so, sir, thank you very much. That's mostly what I want to stand up is thank you, thanks to your team for putting up with me and not beating me out by the woodshed here after all these different community updates, but also thank you to the team. It's been fantastic working with many of you. I think we've got an incredible symbiotic relationship between the Air Force and the Army here. We execute what the Joint Base should do every single day, and it's because of great leadership like this. And of course, to the folks on the sides, we couldn't do this. Our families couldn't be here. They couldn't get the support if it wasn't for all of you. So with that, I'm going to introduce, we've got some exciting things that we've done over the past month that Colonel Kern will talk to you here, but it's my pleasure to introduce Colonel Kern. He's coming in as he was a former wing commander at an air refueling wing in North Carolina. He, his wife Lisa, his daughter Tessa, and his son Lucas, they'll be coming out here in about a week and a half or so. But of course, the most exciting news that I have here is to introduce my replacement, Colonel Erin Stainpine. Her husband Frank is here, and their 6-month-old Ellie is here as well. And they're excited to be joining the JBLM family. So with that, sir, over to you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Good morning. So just allow me to introduce myself very quickly. Colonel Scoville Kern, the new 62nd Airlift Wing Commander. And I've only been here about a week and a half, but like I tell my airmen, I have not had a bad day yet, because this is a tremendous place. General Valesky, sir, it's a pleasure to meet you. I told the general before we started that we already have common ground, that my wife is a Spokane native and a graduate of Eastern Washington University. She went to U High, not Ferris, so I think that rivalry may be rekindled here. So Sergeant Major Tagg, it's good to see you as well, and to General Burleson. It's been an exciting first week for me. On Sunday night, we welcomed the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Goldfein, and his wife here at Joint Base Lewis McChord. And it was a fantastic visit. On Monday, the boss went up to Boeing to check out the new KC-46 program. But we had Mrs. Goldfein all day on Monday, and she had an opportunity to see the great services we provide our airmen and their families. She went to the CDC, the youth center, and then she was over at the PAX terminal and got to witness a homecoming of our redeployers coming back from the Middle East, and so that was a very special moment. But I was also able to talk to General Goldfein. One of his top priorities is strengthening joint teams and leaders. And I was able to point out that there's no place in his Air Force where that happens better than right here. During our April mobility exercise, we were able to get 6 of your units, sir, level 3 deployment readiness exercise credit. And I was able to highlight that synergy to him. And so he was very impressed with the operation here. Flew back to DC on Tuesday, a fantastic visit. This week is very exercise intensive for us. Today, we are launching every 6-month exercise we call Rainier War. 20 plus C-17s representing every active duty C-17 location in the Air Force. Taking off and flying as far east as Wyoming, as far south as California, and max performing this airplane and its capabilities. Low levels through the mountains, dirt strip landings, air refueling, personnel drops, equipment drops, all to prepare for a possibility of a near-peer fight. To look at how do we survive and operate in a chemical biological attack scenario. And so very proud of them. We just sent 5 airplanes to join 4 other C-17s to Fort Bragg as a part of Exercise Sabre Strike. They're going to take off out of Fort Bragg and Pope Field and fly all the way with air refueling one stop to Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania for airdrops in multiple countries. And you can understand the importance that has with our possible adversaries in that region. And then to top it off, we're leaving in a couple of days to head down to Nellis to join 90 aircraft as a part of the capstone of our weapons school graduation, 6 airplanes here from McChord. So it has been a fun first week with the Chief of Staff of the Air Force and all these exercises, but it has been fantastic. It's an honor and a privilege to join you and work alongside you, and I look forward to building these relationships here in the room as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Okay, and just like I mentioned, we're going to shift into a couple of kind of hot topics for the installation. We'll cover those on the front end, and then I'll roll into the rest of the brief. So next slide. I'm going to introduce Mr. Ted Solinar.
I'll give him.
All right, yeah, go ahead, Ted.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ted Solinar, Deputy Director of Emergency Services. I want to touch base on what's probably going to be the most popular topic of the day, and that's our main gate construction project. This is a much-needed project to get our force protection standards as well as the traffic flow standards at the gate up. But there are some challenges associated with it, and I'd like to talk you through those real quick. Because of the construction project, in order to facilitate not only traffic throughput, but get this project done as quickly as we possibly can, we've had to neck that inflow down from 4 lanes to 2. There is still inflow through that gate down to 2 lanes. We've retained the same number of guard force that we've had there before, so we've got more folks on each one of the lanes, so we're still processing traffic through there. I'm going to ask a little bit of help to get that word out. I think the common understanding is that the gate is completely closed, as a result of which that traffic load has dispersed to the other I-5 gates, probably creating a bigger impact than we need be. We've actually got pretty good throughput. The challenge for us as an installation is really going to be those folks that are transiting between Lewis Main and Lewis North, because we've had to completely close that outbound lane. That has afternoon impacts, as we understand. We have a total of 14 access control points on the installation. The graphic will show you where those are at. Depending where you're working, I ask that you kind of take a look at that and help spread that word to your folks, because there are alternatives. Some of these gates are actually not seeing significant increases in traffic throughput, but I hate to say this is going to be a little bit of discovery learning, because you can't really predict what individual motorists are going to do. We're in that normalizing phase. We're not seeing significant impacts, except right now we're seeing is at the Madigan gate, because the external infrastructure doesn't allow for a lot of queue-up space. So I would ask, if you typically use the Madigan gate, consider an alternative there from a safety standpoint, so you're not stacking up on the freeway. We're going to continue to watch these gates as we go through this normalizing process. And if we realize that we have some significant friction points, so we're going to reassess whether or not we need to extend some of the gate hours or change some of our traffic flow. Right now, it looks like the existing gates can handle that traffic flow, but we'll continue to pay attention to that. So with that, at the risk of getting shot in the chest, I'll open it up for any questions for DES. Am I really going to get off that easy? I will take advantage of that opportunity. I will be followed by Call Run.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Sergeant Major Johnson. I'm with First Corps Current Operations Sergeant Major. Just want to talk about the Corps Run coming up on the 14th of June. This will be before we get into the Army Ball. So this will kick off at 06:30 in the morning, and this would be for all the assigned units on JBLM. So 7th ID, all the separate brigades, 593rd. So it'll be pretty heavy traffic of personnel for this run. We have already talked about the logistics. We've got with DES about the gates. The gates usually open at 05 in the morning. For this run, it'll be open at 04. So that'll be the RCF gate, Integrity gate, and the DuPont gate. So that way we can have those soldiers come in earlier in the morning. Also got with the Child Development Services, see if they can get the facilities open earlier in the morning. So that way those soldiers can drop off their children in the morning, and so they can meet the timeline for the run. As you can see, all those little stars on there, those are all the road guards that we have positioned at those different locations, so that way we can stop traffic from coming down on the run route. The run route will go from Liggett down to 9th Division, down to Lewis, 9th Division on the backside, coming down the backside of Railroad, over there by Engineer Bluffs, and we will go out down to Railroad prior to where the Striker Brigade brigade headquarters is, and we do that. That's where we're going to have the turnaround point. And we'll come back down Railroad, and then we will hit South Division Street, and that's where we will stop for the Corps Run. The route prior to that was going up Bitar, going down South 12, and coming down Liggett again. We adjusted that. That way we won't have Liggett closed off for that long. After doing that, we will go into the cake-cutting ceremony, and from there, that'll be the end of the Corps Run. We do have all the medical coverage, as you can see, from all the different units. And again, like I said, we have already notified DES about getting those gates open, and also trying to, I don't know if it has been approved as far as like having a late work call for all the civilian agencies or personnel. The salute cannons, of course, that will be going off. We have 4 cannons that's going to be posted, 3 right there and 1 at the turnaround point. And they've also been notified that they need to notify DES about that. That way the work can get out to the housing community. So that way when it goes off, it's not a surprise. And yeah, that's about it. If there are any questions.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you understand, this is a First Corps event. If the Air Force would love to participate, we'd love to have you come to do our 4-mile, 9-minute per mile standard run in your Air Force PT uniform. I'm not sure if that's Under Armour or whatever else that you may want to wear. But I want you to know, this is a Corps run, but we would be more than happy to make this a joint adventure should you decide that's what you'd like to do. 6:30, posted prominently in Watkins Field. I know 6:30 is a little problematic. I got it. I'll have the coffee for you.
And just to add with this, we will have media coverage as well. So PAO has already been talking to DPTMS and DPW about getting those bucket trucks out there. So we'll try to get a picture of all the units on Watkins Field before they take off. And then also along the run, we should have also a flyover from the 16 cab doing that flyover picture as well. So it'll be a great event. Might be a little bit in the stop and go because of the size of the formation, but should be great. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tisha Crespin. I am the Chief of Protocol for America's First Corps. Just a very quick background, I've been working for the Army for 17 years, and this is the 5th installation I've worked at. Most recently coming from Peterson Air Force Base, where I worked for the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command, Army Forces Strategic Command, which I'm so glad I don't have to type or say every day anymore. Just to let you know, the Pacific Northwest and JBLM is a great place, and it's no wonder it's one of the top requested bases. So with as many personnel that we have at JBLM, I was a little surprised at how low our numbers have been for the ceremony, which is open to everybody here. We had, I think, 2 people in April, and May and June have only been about 10 people. So we have been posting the dates in the Northwest Guardian, and we send the invitations out to the command teams every month. And I am here just to make sure that everybody knows the 5 W's for the ceremony. So this is available for all service members and civilians at JBLM. And in fact, we've even had a couple people stationed at other bases, but they're from this area and their families here, so we try very hard to accommodate them and let them join. It happens at Cary Theater now until further notice. We have this the 3rd Friday of every month at 1400. We try to stick to that date every once in a while. We do have to move it based on op tempo and other stuff, but 3rd Friday of every month is what we really try hard to stick to. And this is just important, obviously, to commemorate your service in the armed forces. And same thing with attendance. We have a lot of empty seats, and just let everybody know you are welcome to come out and attend and support this event. Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
Morning, Buck James, DPTMS. As always, sir, an undeserved honor to be here with you today. The key events that you see on there have either been discussed or will be discussed. I want to highlight for Steve Snelson, I know it charges him up, but the next personal shred day is on the 6th of July. And it is PCS season, so once again, I'd recommend you guys get your stuff loaded up and get there early because a lot of folks are shredding things. All of this is in your packet. Again, the CG covered a bunch of these, and the Ministry of Fun will hit them. I do want to remind everybody, though, we are in our busy season on the range complex. Training and operations with many of our reserve component forces are here, so there's going to be a lot more tactical vehicles in and around, especially on Lewis North, going across the Joint Base Connector, heading over back and forth between the McChord field portion of the Joint Base and Lewis Main and Lewis North. I tell you that because you're going to see a lot more vehicles. I know the sergeants majors have been having a lot of discussions. There's been some really good traffic, and keep people heads up on that. But a reminder, the Pendleton Underpass is only this high. So if you're this high, don't go through the Pendleton Underpass, okay? Also, please, 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 in and around Lewis Main especially, up along Engineer Bluff, when the gates are locked, and I know there's a lot of people that walk dogs and they run and they bike up there. When the gates are locked, they're locked for a reason. It's because we have training operations, mostly in Training Area 4 on the back side of the CTAs, the close-in training areas. So there are surface danger zones that are set up for unit training, and that's the reason those gates are locked. So please don't try to bypass them. If it's locked for a reason. Always check your access and make sure you're in the right locations. Other than that, unless you have any questions about plans, training, operations, mobilization, emergency management, aviation, or security, I'll be standing by. Again, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Buck. And as Buck mentioned, it is PCS season, so I just want to quickly highlight that through our relocation program, if you have folks that are PCSing overseas or specifically to Alaska and Hawaii, we have all these briefs available for your service members and their families. We really highlight Alaska and Hawaii because there are a lot of things that people need to know, even though they are United States. There's unique things and survival tips that we give you, and one of the key things on these two briefings is the financial impact of going to these two high-cost areas. So please, we have a lot of opportunities for your folks to attend these and get the information that they need if they're PCSing overseas or to Alaska and Hawaii. And where's Jay? Oh, went the wrong way.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. I am not Command Sergeant Major Bivens. Unfortunately, well, actually, good for him. His son's graduating from high school today, so he wasn't able to be here. And Colonel Place, of course, he's leaving us sadly next month, so he's wrapping up some loose ends. So you have me. My name's Jay. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for Madigan. Next slide, please. Okay, a little self-promotion here, shameless plug, if you will, is that next Friday over at American Lake, we're going to have our annual Healthcare Professionals Graduation Ceremony. This is where we traditionally have about 100 physicians, nurses, interns, residents, fellows that will be graduating as going through their medical training here at Madigan and going off into the Army as clinicians serving the military. So we're pretty proud of that because we are a teaching hospital with 33 programs here at Madigan, the second largest in Army medicine. And we're really excited because we have an exciting guest speaker by the name of Bob Woodruff. Bob Woodruff, of course, is a reporter for ABC, and he was embedded with the Army in 2006 when he came across an IED explosion, had a significant TBI, and we're excited that he's going to talk to our graduating class about his experiences with Army medicine. And of course, we have an attending physician here at Madigan who was at launch stool back in the day that oversaw his recovery and got him back to health. Next slide, please. Slide. Okay, so I know that we have gotten lots of feedback from our patients about, sadly, not having Wi-Fi, not being able to connect. And so we're hoping that in the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to be able to flip this switch and we're going to be online for our patients. And again, we appreciate everyone giving us that feedback. It's been a long, hard journey for a multitude of reasons, starting with the fact that Madigan was designed in the 80s and built in the early 90s, and it's built like a brick outhouse. So there were some issues as far as connectivity goes. So we're very excited about this because, again, it's for our patients. Next slide. Okay, and then we're also looking, because with PCS season, we've got some folks picking up and leaving, and we're always looking for folks that are willing to come in to be as part of our, what we call PFAC, to help us and guide us as we deliver healthcare to you all. So if you're interested, there's a contact information at the bottom of the slide. We would love to have you come in and be part of that, because we need your feedback so that we can be better in our healthcare delivery. Next slide, please. Okay, guys, it's Men's Health Month. It's graduation month, it's Father's Day month, so there's lots going on. It's Men's Health Month. And as a proud member of the Y chromosome, I suffer all these things too, starting with our frame of mind. Okay, we're tough and rough. We take a couple of vitamin M's and we ruck up and we move out and we continue to soldier or airman on, if you will. And we got to take care of ourselves because it's part of our mission. It's our individual missions to be ready to go mentally, physically, healthcare-wise, but it's also taking care of you for your family, for your unit, for the nation, because when we're called, you got to go. And it's very important that you do so. A couple of things that I'm hoping that you all know, men, is that there are things that we struggle with, right, and that we don't talk about. Behavioral health, we don't talk about that. And Madigan, of course, has the largest behavioral health department in all of Army medicine, and we're very proud of that, and we're available with our embedded behavioral health professionals in the Soldier Settled Medical Homes as well as the Airman Clinic, so we are here for you. So men's health, take pause, think about it, talk to your significant other, take care of yourself. It's very important for you personally and professionally to be ready to go if you're called. Next slide, please. Okay, so June is also a big month for water, for safety across the board, and sadly, when folks don't operate safely, then we get to see them in some way at Madigan, whether it's through the ER or through primary care. And of course, water safety is a big deal. So I'm a native and grew up here, and I know that for those that aren't natives, the water looks really appealing. It's blue, it's clean, and you want to just dive in. Well, that water is pretty cold around these here parts. It's not like North Carolina, for example. So most of the water systems in the Pacific Northwest are glacier fed, which means they're cold, 24/7, 365 a year. So there's some obvious safety measures to take, and I know that you're being told by the safety managers around the facility or around JBLM, but we're concerned too, because then we have to deal with when we go off the rails, so to speak. So be careful, safety first, especially when dealing with water safety. Next slide. And of course, it's hot outside. Again, it's not North Carolina, but at the same time, we can get hot around here. So just be careful, make sure you hydrate, follow all the rules and all the steps that you've been told to throughout your time here in the military and through your life, because again, this could be a significant health issue, and we want you to take care of yourselves. Next slide, please. All right, so MHS Genesis, our new electronic health record, we're continuing to plug along, we're making improvements, things are getting better. It's not necessarily gone exactly as we hoped or planned, but if you do need some help with getting your DS log on, if you don't have your DS log on, why, there's the number to call, 800-538-9552, and they will be able to help you. They're also working to implement some more customer service-friendly procedures so that if you do have questions or concerns, especially for your family members that may not have a CAC card to get into the patient portal. Next slide, please. And except for, again, active duty folks, the Airman Clinic and the Soldier Center Medical Homes, is that if you've got a cough due to cold, and we do have some delays in our ER, that you can go to an urgent care clinic to get that taken care of. You no longer need to have approval in advance to go. And of course, there was a pilot program for a while where you were allowed 2 free visits to a urgent care clinic during the course of a year. That's now no longer the case. You're able to go as you need. Again, this is for family members and retirees, because the active duty folks, you can't do that. Go to your Soldier Center Medical Home or the Airman Clinic at McChord Field. Next slide, please. And then just how we stay connected, we're very sad that we're going to have to remove the Northwest Guardian logo here next month because of what's happening. Sorry, Joe. But nonetheless, we are on all the social media platforms. We've got a great website. We've got a way for you to contact us, either on social media or on the website, and we're happy to answer questions to help you to maintain your health and wellness. And if I'll stay afterwards with any questions you may have, but I can take questions. If there aren't, I will be happy to give the mic to Joe. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, JBLM. My name is Joe Peak. I'm the Garrison Public Affairs Officer here at JBLM, and I'm going to move to this side of the screen while the team, and where's Bud and Pamela? There they are. Come on up, guys. Or as they say on Survivor, hey, guys, come on down, or come on down, guys. You know, I watch Survivor. I still watch it. Okay, last year, this slide had a big, huge blue ribbon on it. This year, we got second place. And but it's still good news. Every year, we put the Northwest Guardian, your base newspaper, in for the Keith L. Ware and Defense Media Awards. And as you can see here, over the last 15 years, the Northwest Guardian won the DoD level award 4 times and Army or MCOM level 8 times. This year, guys, we came in second place, but we came in second place to an aircraft carrier, so it's not all bad. So that's pretty good. And I'd like to introduce the team over here. This is the editor, Bud McKay, and assistant editor, Pamela Kalakis, photographer and layout specialist extraordinaire, Scott Henson, Ruth Kingsland, our reporter, we call her Lois Lane, and Dean Seaman, our sports writer and jack of all trades. Dean's out there doing everything. And as I said, this is the good news. And now on to the sad news. Slide, please. Boom. Next Friday is the final edition of your JBLM Northwest Guardian. The Northwest Guardian has been the base paper for almost 30 years, about 20 years for Fort Lewis, and for the past 8 or 9 years for the Joint Base. However, we are just finding at the end of every week on the 200 boxes around the base, most of the papers are still sitting in the red boxes. People just don't pick up paper papers anymore. Everybody, including myself, get their news on their smartphones or on their computer. So that said, we're not pursuing another contract, and after next week, we will lose Scott and Ruth, indeed. They're part of our family, I'm sorry. But we're going to continue putting news together for the base because this place is a great place and we've got great news for our soldiers and our airmen and everything that goes on all the time. So that's the sad news. Next slide. Here's the future. Bud and Pamela have created a new JBLM News website that just went hot last Friday. It's called JBLM News. And we will continue, all of the soldiers and the airmen public affairs professionals, as well as Bud and Pamela and the civilians over at Madigan and everywhere else, will continue producing stories. We'll continue posting those to the new JBLM News website. And then we will continue sharing those on social media, just like we've been doing. And that's how you will continue to get your news about the base. So after next week, no more Northwest Guardian. Make sure on Friday, pick up a copy. It will be a commemorative edition. I'll have a couple copies. And I'm really sorry about getting emotional about this, but a lot of heart and soul goes into your paper every week. And with that, I'd like to ask Colonel Lucas to...
So before we let you get to sit down, we do want to thank you publicly. We really can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done helping us tell our story. So you won't be forgotten, and we do want to thank you publicly.
And with that, we'll be followed by the Directorate of Public Works. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, Chuck Markham, Deputy Director, Director of Public Works. This morning I'd like to invite JBLM residents and then also unit representatives to a couple upcoming what we're calling water town halls. We're going to have some subject matter experts there to present and discuss some of the ongoing water issues that we're having with our drinking water systems here, both on Lewis and McChord. We have two dates, one at French Theater on the Lewis and one at the McChord Theater on McChord Field. And again, you can see the times there. We're going to be discussing the brown water issue. We'll also talk about PFOA, PFOS that's in a couple of our wells that are now shut down, so we've got that under control. And then also potential water conservation measures this summer, although it's looking right now that we do not have to implement theirs, but we'll also talk about conservation in general. So again, inviting for anyone with interest to come and listen to the subject matter experts talk this. We'll talk what our near-term projects are and what our long-term solutions are also. And so reminder that, you know, the bottom line is our drinking water is safe to drink, and we test it every month, and we're within all the limits, and we're doing well that way. So any questions reference this, the water? And if you have some specific questions on any of these topics, I have some more information with me, but then I'll look forward to seeing you at the town halls. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, JBLM. I'm Kathy with Environmental Division, and I'm going to keep it short. We're talking about van pools. Anybody who's standing in line or sitting in line while you're trying to get out after PT or back in, maybe you should think about a van pool. Contact us. Go to goluismcchord.com and check it out. We can hook you up. We've got vans available, and it's not going to cost you any money, so think about that. Next slide, please. Prescribed burns on JBLM. We're getting into burn season. You guys might have seen some smoke coming around. I've got this little letter on your page. On the bottom here, it tells you how to keep track of that. Sustainable JBLM is our Facebook page. We post them there. They also share it on the main page. And if smoke is causing you any physical discomfort or property damage, give us a call. Let us know, and we'll keep track of it. But we want you to know that we are burning. There is a good reason we're doing that for our endangered species and to keep training areas available for training. We got to keep out that Scotch broom and make sure our larks and Taylor's checker spot butterflies and the Mazama pocket gopher are in good shape. Another piece of paper I have out there for you to keep track of everything environmental is our SharePoint information. This is going to answer any questions, or if you want to come to some of our trainings, keep track of this, and it'll help you get through that CAT card access only. Next page, please. Fire pits and housing. This is just a reminder, don't set your fire pit too close to the walls. If you're using lighter fluid and all kinds of stuff, don't leave that all over the grass. We had some issues last year. So just be sure and comply with state and county burn bans. And there's no burning of yard waste or garbage on JBLM. Okay? Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. Nancy Barnes here from DPW Housing. And the results are in from the Headquarters DA Housing Survey that you all took. And I just want to take you back to 2016. The response rate was 14%. 2017, 42%. This year, 48%. I can't tell you how happy we all are. You guys did a wonderful, wonderful job. The top 3 neighborhoods, Broadmoor. I see a few people live in Broadmoor, Eagleview, and Westcott. Got some people living in Westcott too, and actually 2 are moving in today. So great results for the response. So give yourself a hand. Next slide. What's working is you love maintenance, location of your housing area. I just want to touch a little bit on this. What we heard is the lower enlisted that lives in Old Hillside and Parkway really like their location because they can get to the Commissary and PX. So they really like it. The flip side is those that are living in Lewis North like it because it's secluded. So you get a little variation there. And the professionalism with which you were treated by Lincoln Military Housing. What's not working very well, and we all know this, air conditioning, parking, visitors parking, and landscaping. So we're going to take these 4 items, work with Lincoln Military Housing, see about getting that into a 5-year plan. Air conditioning is going to be a little tough in some of our historic homes, but we'll kind of look and see what we can do. And all the feedback that everybody gave, we look at, we're talking to them about, and we'll try to get it into the 5-year plan. So, again, thank you all for participating. It was wonderful this year. Any questions? Great. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Kelly with MWR. We are coming into our busy, busy season, kicking off with June. We've got a special event. This is the second in a series that we've run in the last year. Army Entertainment is providing us Matt Belis. He's a singer and entertainer. He will be putting on a show sponsored by the library at Habanero Mexican Grill on Friday the 22nd. So live music. We will also have a specially priced art, wine and canvas, so if you'd like to have a glass of wine and paint a picture, special price of $15, which is less than half what it normally costs for that. We will also have the library there with our virtual reality and makerspace projects, and then an esports tourney for folks who like to game that are over 18, and finally a taco bar provided by Habanero Mexican Grill, so you can come and bring the family for dinner as well. And that starts at 5:30 on the 22nd. And then right after that, the 3rd and 4th of July, Summerfest/Freedom Fest. This is our 4th of July celebration. The 3rd is for ID card holders only. So it's an opportunity for you to come out and see the great car show that we put on every year. If you have a car that you would like to show, please sign up and get it out there. There are great prizes involved, and it's just kind of fun to see the kind of cars that come in from the community members. And then entertainment, we'll have rides, food, games, all kinds of things. Then on the 4th, we open the gates and allow the public to come in. So about twice as many folks come out to celebrate that day. That starts a little later in the day, so we open at 11, and then on-stage entertainment, roving entertainers, games, food, all kinds of things But the highlight of the show is the fireworks show. Probably the best fireworks show you're going to find in South Puget Sound, and it's here on base, and it's absolutely free. Folks start setting up their tailgates about noon, and the fireworks go off around 10 o'clock when it gets dark. So it's a day-long event where folks come out to celebrate on the 4th of July. Then a quick rundown here at the bottom. The next CG Golf Scramble is the 8th of June over at Eagles Pride, and it's $35 a person. If you have a team, fantastic. If you don't, we'll put you on one to golf. And then the Sound and Arrows Military Run coming up on Saturday. And then finally, UFC 225. That is this Saturday, and we have it at a number of locations on base. You can watch it at the Warrior Zone if you're over 18, and there's no cover charge there. You can watch it here in the McChord Club inside the pub. It's also free. There's no cover charge there. And then you can watch it over at the Warrior Zone, or I mentioned the Warrior Zone, over at Sam Adams. There is a $5 cover charge to watch it there. So that's what you can watch for UFC on base this Saturday. Next slide, please. And then what's coming up in July? Talked about Freedom Fest and the car show, UFC 226. We've got a 3-on-3 basketball tournament coming up, the Freedom Run, which is an annual run that we have, and then Family Fun Night here back in the club. And then in August, when it starts to warm up, the Northwest Adventure Center's block party, huge community celebration. But if you are in the market for used sporting equipment and outdoor equipment, this is where you can buy it at a really good price. It's about time that we're rotating our inventory at the Northwest Adventure Center at Adventures Unlimited. So inexpensive used sporting goods, this is the time to pick them up. Get there early. Folks start lining up before they open. We've got a poker run and concert that's being planned, a skeet shoot for the kids out at the skeet range, and then finally Single Service Member Day, which I'm sure the boss folks will talk to you about. Anybody have any questions? Have a great warm summer and enjoy your time outdoors.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Williams with the BOSS program. This is Senior Airman Lies. We're here to talk to you guys about our May events that we just had, turn out of those. So this was our camping trip to Silverwood, and we took about 25 single service members up to Idaho, and they camped for a few days, and it was a really awesome turnout. They got to go to the Silverwood theme park. They got in for free. They got to really have a good time with that. We went to Crypticon. That was when we got those 40 free passes from Master Star and Black, and all the service members really enjoyed themselves. They really got to enjoy a nice event. It was a convention kind of thing, so there was a lot of celebrities there, and booths set up for different vendors. We also had our life skill crochet class. A lot of service members got to learn how to crochet. We used the Arts and Crafts Center as a resource for that type of class, so they got to take some yarn and some thread with them, and they got to learn how to do that. We went to the Day of Champions event. It was a North Thurston school event. So they put on a special Olympics for all the different schools. The students came out and they got to enjoy different sporting events, and BOSS basically volunteered and helped out with that. It was really fun. And at the bottom is our Armed Forces Day barbecue. During Armed Forces Day, BOSS set up a burger stand, and we basically sold burgers, brats, meals, and we made a good amount of money. So that'll go towards our future events for the next month. Next slide.
So these are the events that we got coming up in June. This weekend we have our whitewater rafting and Armed Forces sailing with whitewater rafting. It's $60 per person, and we're going out, and they'll be with guides and everything and learn how to whitewater raft, and that'll be a lot of fun. And on the 9th as well, we're doing the sailing with South Sound Sailing Society, and they are taking up to 100 service members out onto the Sound and teaching them how to sail and having a free barbecue lunch and a bunch of other really cool stuff. So that's going to be a fun event too. Then on Wednesday the 13th, we have resiliency painting. So you get to relax, paint some cool things. I'll be painting a stick figure because I'm not very artistic. Then on the 20th, we have a nutrition class. So we are having a nutritionist from Madigan come out and, kind of help people, tell them how to diet maybe, or whatever they might need to get a little bit more in shape. Next slide.
These are a few upcoming BOSS events, just things to know. So we have our BOSS Strong competition, which is a really important event. We're really trying to put together some teams that can go compete at the MCOM levels. So currently we've reached out to all of our BOSS representatives. I've been speaking to some command sergeant majors about it, and they're all on board with it. So we're really trying to get some teams together to participate in this fitness competition. Also for replacement team packets, the team and we are transitioning out soon. So we're looking for people some service members to take our spots, some individuals who are going to be able to step up to the plate, speak in front of an audience, put on the meetings, and organize and basically take on the BOSS program after we leave. Of course, Single Service Member Day. It's going to be August the 30th this year. It's going to be a competitive sports theme. So it'll be basketball, softball, football. We're going to have all kinds of sports on that day. And in the morning, we're also going to have a Single Service Member Day run as well. So save that date. All the Single Service members should be coming out for that date if they can. Does anyone have any questions? And on that last note, if you don't have anything to do after lunch, BOSS has our monthly meeting in that room over there next to the McChord Grill, and that's where all of our planning goes down. So if you want to stop by and see what it's all about, then that's where we'll be at 1300. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Chaplain Gary Snyder, representing Chaplain Gauthier, the Garrison chaplain. Chaplain Gauthier's last day of work is today. We're going to do his farewell in a little bit, and then he will go off and officiate the wedding for his son and come back and sign out on the 11th and 12th of June. Chaplain Randy Brandt is inbound. He'll be here the week of the 17th of June and take over as the new Garrison chaplain. 74 years ago today, Chaplain Barber, George Russell Barber, was the only member on his landing craft without a weapon as they went ashore on D-Day. There were chaplains involved throughout D-Day, leading divine services, praying for Seabees, doing all sorts of things, supporting service members on that great operation 74 years ago today. Chaplain Barber went on to be a lieutenant colonel chaplain in the Air Force and retired from the Air Force and died in 2004. But a little moment in history as we remember D-Day and the support you get from your chaplains and religious affairs specialists, and now the Air Force has religious affairs airmen. We no longer have chaplain assistants. I don't know if you knew that, but we're all religious affairs, either specialists in the Army or airmen in the Air Force. A big change that has happened. I still call them chaplain assistants, and I have to do push-ups when I do that, which is good for me. Some great things coming up. Of course, we're in the summer, lots of transitions, so ability to keep volunteers and run big programs on our weekly basis is, so we're taking a hiatus with the Faith and Family University, but Vacation Bible School is coming up, 2 locations. Next slide. And it's the 16th to the 20th of July. Still opportunities for people to sign up and volunteer and get through the very meticulous background check process that is required of us by the Department of Defense. But all that information is there. And also open for signing up your children. 2 locations. We're going to be at Beechwood on North Fort and on Carter Lake on McChord Field. 2 venues, same program for the Joint Base, and getting your children involved with that. And the next slide, really good news, didn't get updated. This is wrong. You can't see Evergreen. It's 4CMC, Four Chaplains Memorial Chapel. They moved back at the end of last week and are unpacking even today as the Family Life Center is back at the Four Chaplains Memorial Chapel. Four Chaplains Memorial Chapel, they're back where, so you need your service members to get help with counseling, support. Send them to Four Chaplains Memorial Chapel. Great asset resources. They have a number of interns. They're engaging with a lot of youth, a lot of children, intervening in a number of suicidal situations and abuse issues. So you need a high trained staff to engage with your service members. Use your Family Life Center at the Four Chaplains Memorial Chapel. And that's all I have. Questions for me?
Good morning. My name is Mike Cruz from McChord Commissary. Just want to shout out to the winners of the scholarship for this year. There were 8 recipients from Lewis, Maine, and 3 recipients from McChord Commissary. So congratulations to all of them. If you want to attend the Lewis, Maine presentation, it'll be June 20th at 11 a.m. McChord is still TBD. Next slide. The usual sales that they have, Lewis, Maine has, the summer sale will be June 14th to 17th, located in their back warehouse. Next slide. Also on June 14th at McChord Commissary, we're going to be having type of a pet contest. There will be Adopt a Pet, which will be coming by around noon. The activities, it says TBD, but it'll start about 9 to 10 a.m. Next slide. Back to Lewis. Farmers Market, June 28th to July 3rd, to hit you up for 4th of July weekend. Stop by. They have a lot of stuff that's going to be on sale. And I think that's it.
Good morning. I'm Mike Einar. I'm the general manager for the exchange. If anybody's looking for a job, have folks PCSing in. We have plenty of jobs available. Please have them go online and apply. We have multiple shifts, multiple locations, so I just want to do some foot stomping for that because the job market is really tight here. But we do have a lot of job opportunities on base. Next slide, please. These are just some upcoming events at our stores. I'm just going to call out 2 of them. I'm not going to read out all of them, but on the 8th and 9th at McChord Main store and the 15th and 16th at the Lewis Main store, we're having a clear the vaults firearms sale. Those are usually very busy days, so if you're interested in that, I would suggest you go in early to do your paperwork because there will probably be long lines. Next slide, please. Another upcoming event that has some interest, Army Birthday, instead of the normal 5 cents off on gasoline when you use your military star card, it will be 10 cents off and save 15% at any of our food locations on that date. Next slide, please. Another event that's coming up Wednesday, June 27th at Lewis, Maine. We have an autograph signing session coming up. We expect long lines for that also, so please show up early and be prepared for a line. Next slide. Another big event that we anticipate to have some big lines for is James Patterson, Bill Clinton. That is also going to be at the Lewis, Maine store. It's going to be July 1st from 10 to 12. It is going to be limited to 500 people, and the book has to be purchased for them to autograph it. We're getting more details from Patterson and Clinton and their publicist as to everything that's going to be tied down and what restrictions we have, so there should be more information on that forthcoming. And finally, as it's PCS season, this is a great program. It's something for nothing. If you're PCSing in and you have orders, you can log on to shopmyexchange.com and register your Star Card or go see either of our customer service areas. You register your Star Card, and then when you have a purchase of $100 or more, you save 10% automatically. That is just for PCSing, but it's a PCS program that you don't have to really do anything for, so I just want to highlight that. So if you have folks doing, you might want to point that out to them. And pending further questions, I will turn the mic over to the next person. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Captain Marati. I'm the operations officer for the Warrior Transition Battalion here at JBLM. I'm here to talk to you guys about the Northwest Care event that we have, 27 August to 30 August. It's a great event. There's many Warrior Care events all over the country annually, but this is the only joint one between the Army and the Air Force. I can tell you that as a former commander here on JBLM, I moved to the WTB, and I had a total of 5 soldiers that were at the WTB that I helped place there. And it's been amazing for me to see those soldiers, their transition from being wounded or whatever reason that brought them there to building confidence and resiliency through the WTB. So it's a great opportunity, especially. Obviously, we love brigade commanders, battalion commanders, but for your company commanders that maybe they don't have soldiers that are at the WTB or airmen, but it helps open up and show what we do as an organization, because before I didn't really understand what the WTB did, but it really highlights our adaptive reconditioning programs that we have for these soldiers. So whatever they decide to do, if they're returned to duty or if they're going to go off out of the military and do bigger and better things, it's the WTB really, and these events is kind of what drives that. So there's several events that you can come and see during that week. We have track and field at Cohen Stadium, swimming, basketball, volleyball at Soldiers Field House. There's a shooting archery at the MWR Fest tent. McChord Field is going to feature cycling, rowing at McVeigh, and also we have an ambassador speaking presentation at McChord Theater. So it's a week long. It's all about the warrior transition and helping these soldiers and getting them, onwards and upwards. So please, there'll be more information going out. The POC is Lieutenant Trundy from the Air Force side, so there'll be more information coming out. I know that there's an op order that'll kind of dictate and show where you can, send your folks to come and check it out. So we really appreciate it. So that's all. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Adrienne Bolton. I'm a regional program specialist with the American Red Cross. We just got our new director, Scott Armstrong, 26 years in the Army, and he's going to say just a quick word, and then we'll do our program update.
Yeah, I appreciate being here. I'm blessed to be able to continue to serve our service members and our families in this capacity, as well as our veterans. I'm actually the regional director for the Red Cross, which is all of Washington State and northern Idaho, and all the military installations and the veterans in the state. So broad responsibility, but I'm happy to be based here at JBLM where I was in the 90s as a junior officer. Glad to be back and continue to serve this local community.
Okay, we can do so next Saturday we have a Coping with Deployments class. This is got a little bit of psychological first aid to it, so you can support yourself and others during a deployment, and not just for deployments, but trainings also, extended trainings. Help children cope with stress, locating resources and making referrals if needed, and then we can have childcare available with advance notice. You can register by calling our Red Cross office. The phone number is there. We do need to have some registrations by this Friday, so if you would like to do this, let us know. Next slide. And finally, we do need volunteers pretty desperately over at Madigan. We need customer service volunteers for our information desk. These people are going to have a bright smile, readily give information, directions around the hospital. This is a Monday through Friday during the day kind of job, so spouses are a good option for this. And then we also need casework volunteers for our Hero Care Network. That's our emergency messages. We do family follow-ups afterward, and that is a 3-hour per week commitment, and that can be done in the evening hours and on the weekend as well, so this is good for anybody. If you would like more information about that, you can contact us. There's our contact information. That's all I got for you today.
Okay, so before we wrap up here, the next community update is the 11th of July, 9:30 at Nelson Rec. And just a couple of things before we head over to closing comments. I just want a little bit of business. So the slides, we had some last minute changes. I know those have been sent already to spouses, and then we'll post them. So we'll get those updated ones out because there's a little bit more current information. Just a couple other things to foot stomp. I know you heard the chaplain talk about Vacation Bible School. That's a great event that we put off. It's kind of an RTEP for the chaplains here on JBLM, but we're about 100 volunteers short than where we were last year. So as you have new folks come in, or people that may be interested in volunteering, that's a kind of big bang for the buck one that we'd really appreciate the support on. couple other things I just want to share with you that are on my mind as the Garrison Commander before we wrap up and as we kind of head into the summer. Number one, it is our construction season. You've heard us talk about it. Please be patient. Please bear with us. This is the good weather. It is the time that we have to do this kind of work. We're also doing a lot of work this year because we have a big airfield runway repair next year here on McChord runway. So that's driving some of our work this year. But please bear with us on that. The next one is traffic and speed. Obviously, you know how the traffic's being affected both inside the gate and outside the gate. But I'd also ask you to be aware of speed and help us spread the word on speed, especially as we make the transition from school being out on JBLM. So speeding in the neighborhood, you're going to have kids now around all 24/7, running, darting in and out of streets. So of course, parents, we have a job to do, right? But I'd ask that we all please be aware. When I ask about speeding, I usually get told every neighborhood has a problem with speeding. That's not the right answer for all of you. So please help us spread the word about, and especially exacerbated by the amount of traffic challenges that we have going on right now. So I'd appreciate the support on that. The next one is gates. Kind of two things about gates. A lot of emphasis on the security for JBLM right now. Obviously, that's really important. Thank you to all the units that provide the support to run those access control points. We can't do it without you, and it really is a team effort. But the other one is the behavior at the gate. So as soldiers, airmen, civilians enter JBLM, what we find, most folks that decide they're going to not show their ID, they're allowed to be here. But they're not making smart decisions. They're either avoiding law enforcement because they don't want to give up their driver's license or they've forgotten their ID. So I'd ask, kind of communicate that as you do safety briefs and those kind of discussions with your formations and also with your family members about making smart decisions at the access control points. Because it's a big deal to sort of figure out what really is a threat and what is just a family member or a minivan full of kids making a bad decision. But again, I do want to finish with thanks for all the help that gets provided to run those access control points. That's how we're able to have 14 access control points for JBLM. The Brownwater Town Halls, please help us spread the word. Sorry, I just changed the name. There are water town halls because we're going to cover more than just groundwater. But please help us get the word out on those. We're doing that because there's some interest that says I should take this time to make sure I spend some time with our community, get the feedback, and give some information and fact. So those are next week. It's short notice on purpose because we're trying to get after this as quickly as possible. So please help me with that as we spread the word. Quick thanks to the installation team for today and every day. I really appreciate what you all do to not just pull off this event, but kind of do all those things we just said that we were going to do over the summer. So, from Kern, sir, over to you for closing. All right. Can you hear me?
All right, you're good? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll stand up so you can see me. I don't know if that mattered or not. But a few weeks ago, we completed our 2018 Best Warrior competition that involved soldiers, NCOs, first sergeants, warrant officers, and junior officers. And I really want to thank all the units that sent their competitors. It was really a great competition. And the winners of that will go on, or the Best Warrior competition, the soldier and the NCO will move on to ForceCom to compete in August. We did not mention who the winners are, but we will mention who they are at the ball. So again, it's a forcing function for all of you to come to the ball and see who the winners are. We're bringing officers and warrant officers and NCOs from Alaska and Hawaii to come here to be, and also their spouses to participate in that recognition. Speaking of the Corps Run, come out and support the Corps Run. Go outside, cheer your units on, come with the banner. And if the Air Force don't want to participate, we're always looking for a few good airmen to be road guards. But I know now you're going to run, so that's a forcing function for you to come and join us. On 22 June, we're going to temporarily close the headquarters road that goes through there to conduct a retreat ceremony. That's usually starting around 1600 to 1630. So just be aware on that day we're going to shut the headquarters road, so they'll have to go around. And that's going to be a busy day because Pendleton is going to be closed as well. Everybody's going to have to go through the other side. So don't be shocked on 1600 on 22 June, that road will be closed. VAH, that day ended yesterday, 5th of June. I really want to say thank you to all the units who really encouraged the soldiers to turn in the documents. So right now we are 0%. Everyone has turned in all their documents, so VAH should not be an issue for our soldiers. But I want to continue to reinforce that as soldiers get married or they come in PCS through a unit, they make sure that their VAH is taken care of. I'm very proud of our BOSS program. They've done a lot of work over the years involving our single soldiers to be active. As you know, this summer, the focus is physical fitness as they do the competition and they do things with the soldiers, and it's all part of America's Big Six, which is physical fitness. And I think it's great for our airmen and our soldiers to be involved, and a great way to establish a relationship and meet their peers and do things together instead of staying in the barracks and not to do so. Thank you very much for all that you do.